when a private jet belonging to one of the most powerful princes in Saudi Arabia suddenly landed in Manila. Airport staff assumed it was a diplomatic flight. But they were wrong. This jet wasn't here for a royal mission, a political meeting, or a billionaire's vacation. It was here for one Filipina nurse. Her name was Liza, and the reason she was summoned is a story that began months earlier inside a quiet hospital room 5,000 miles away. No one could understand why, and no one expected what happened next. But before we go deeper, drop 777 in the comments below and tell us where you are watching from. Like this video and subscribe to Global Filipino Tales. Liza had been working in Saudi Arabia for 14 years. She was quiet, soft-spoken, and consistent. The kind of nurse everyone respected and whose sacrifices very few people ever saw. But everyone who worked with her knew two things. She never complained, and she cared for every patient like they were her own family. She didn't even consider herself special, just long shifts and a dream of giving her family a better life. She didn't know that her life was about to collide with someone from the highest levels of Saudi royalty. One early morning, Liza was assigned to a new patient, admitted under strict confidentiality. The hospital staff were told to treat him like any other person with no special privileges. He arrived with only two companions, both dressed simply, no signs of royalty. To everyone, he looked like a middle-aged man recovering from exhaustion and stress. To the hospital staff, he was just another case. A tired-looking middle-aged man, and to simple companions. But in reality, this man was Prince Karim Al Hassan, one of the most respected members of the Saudi royal family, a man with immense wealth, influence, and status, and he was at the weakest point of his life. Unlike other nurses, Liza did something rare. She spoke to him gently. She treated him like a human being and offered warm smiles during his weakest moments. To Liza, every patient deserved dignity. She stayed past her shift to make sure his medications were administered correctly. And she prayed silently for him when she thought he was asleep. The prince noticed everything. One night, when pain kept him awake, Liza sat by his bedside and told him stories of her life in the Philippines. How her mother raised her alone, how she dreamed of sending her own children to school, and how she worked abroad not because she wanted luxury, but because she wanted to give her family a chance. The prince listened quietly, almost emotionally, to a story he had never heard before from a world completely different from his own. One evening, the prince suddenly experienced complications. Machines beeped, nurses panicked, doctors rushed in. But Liza remained calm, her hands steady, her voice firm, her instincts sharp. She made a decision, fast, accurate, and life-saving. Later, the doctors admitted if Nurse Liza hadn't reacted exactly the way she did, he might not have survived the night. When the crisis passed, the prince, who was still weak, still trembling, looked at her and whispered, "You saved my life." Liza simply bowed her head and said,
"God uses ordinary people, sir. I'm just doing my job."
But for the prince, she had done far more than that. A few days later, the prince was discharged. He left quietly the same way he arrived. No grand farewell, not even a hint of who he really was. Hospital staff returned to their routines. Liza returned to her shifts. Weeks passed, then months. No one heard from the prince again. Life continued. Bills, long shifts, loneliness, and the heavy homesickness that overseas Filipinos hide behind false smiles. Liza had no idea her life was about to change. One ordinary Tuesday morning, the hospital director called a staff meeting. At the center of the long conference table lay a sealed envelope marked with the royal emblem of the House of Al Hassan. When the director read the letter aloud, everyone froze. The prince had revealed his true identity, and he requested something unbelievable. The royal house respectfully asked for Nurse Liza to be released from duty. A royal aircraft will be sent to bring her to Riyadh. We request her presence for matters of great importance. Everyone stared at her. Liza was stunned.
Me? Why me?
She said. But no one had the answer. 2 days later, a massive private jet landed in Manila bearing the prince's insignia. Airport officials were stunned. Media stations scrambled for information. Passengers stopped to watch the rare arrival. Inside the jet, a royal aide held a sign for Nurse Liza. When Liza walked into the VIP hangar, she felt completely out of place, wearing a simple blouse, old slacks, and the same bag she used for work. But the royal staff bowed respectfully to her, a bow for her, a simple Filipina nurse. She felt her knees weaken. Her heartbeat raced. "What's happening?" she whispered. "The prince awaits." The aide replied. When the jet door opened in Riyadh, luxury vehicles and palace guards awaited her arrival. Liza felt like she was stepping into a dream. One she didn't ask for, didn't expect, and didn't feel worthy of. She was escorted to the prince's private residence, and when the doors opened there he was standing tall, healthy and smiling like he was welcoming a member of his family. The prince placed his hand on his chest, a sign of deep respect. "Welcome, Nurse Liza, the woman who saved my life." Liza immediately started crying.
I'm just a nurse, sir."
"You are not just anything," the prince replied. "You showed me kindness when I had nothing. When I hid my identity, when I was at my weakest, you reminded me that humanity still exists." Then he revealed the real reason he brought her there. The prince gathered his family and royal advisors. With everyone present, declared, "I owe this woman a debt of life, and in our culture, a life saved must be honored." He offered Liza a fully funded home in the Philippines, lifetime financial support for her children's education, a senior nursing position in a royal medical facility, and a request she never expected: "Teach our royal nurses the compassion that saved me." Liza was speechless, overwhelmed, almost unable to breathe.
"Sir, I don't know what to say."
"Just say yes," the prince replied gently. "You deserve this honor, not because of your skills alone, but because of your heart." For the first time in her life, Liza felt seen, truly seen. Not as an overseas worker, not as someone sacrificing quietly in the background, not as an invisible hero, but as a person whose kindness changed someone powerful, someone who could change her life in return. This wasn't about royalty. This wasn't about prestige. This was about something much deeper: respect. The kind of respect overseas Filipinos rarely receive. The kind they silently hope for. The kind that reminds them their sacrifices matter. Liza accepted the offer, but asked for one thing: "Please don't forget the other nurses. They work harder than I do." The prince smiled and said, "A heart like yours is rare, and that is why we chose you." The prince donated medical equipment to Liza's former hospital. He funded scholarships for aspiring Filipino nurses. He sent medical supplies to several provinces in the Philippines, all because of one woman's kindness. All because of one Filipino nurse who chose to be kind when no one was watching. When the story eventually reached the public, it spread across social media like wildfire. The world was stunned. Why would a Saudi prince send a private jet for a foreign nurse? The answer was simple. Because kindness has no nationality, no rank, no limits, And sometimes even the most powerful people on earth bow to the quiet strength of ordinary heroes. Liza's story is not just about one nurse, it's about every Filipino working abroad, every sacrifice no one sees, every tear shed in silence, every act of compassion that changes lives behind the scenes. Filipino nurses are not just anything, they are the heartbeat of hospitals around the world. They are the quiet heroes of countless families. They are the reason some people live another day. And sometimes the world finally notices. Don't forget to drop 777 and where you're watching from. Like and subscribe to Global Filipino Tales for more inspiring stories.